Welcome back to Commander by Danon. Today we're continuing our series building decks led by the new legendary creatures from the Brothers' War. Last week we had videos for each of the melded cards, so if you missed those, be sure to check them out. Today, we embrace villainy with a deck led by Gix, Yawgmoth, Praetor. Before we get started, I'd like to quickly ask you to like and subscribe. I've been very happy with the growth this channel has had so far, and I'm excited to see where we're going. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. One of the tiers is specifically set up for Commander. For only $25, I will build you a custom Commander deck based around your specifications, and even do a deck video on it. With that out of the way, let's get into the video. Gix, Yawgmoth Praetor is a 3-mana, 3/3 legendary Phyrexian Praetor. He has 2 abilities, 1 static and 1 activated. His static ability says that whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of our opponents, that creature's controller may pay 1 life. If they do, they draw a card. Additionally, we can pay 7 mana and discard X cards. We then exile the top X cards of target opponent's library. We may play lands and cast spells from among the cards exiled this way, without paying their mana cost. From what I can see, there will be 3 popular ways to build Gix, Yawgmoth, Praetor. The first is go wide with a focus on life-linking creatures, most of them having flying. 10 life to draw 10 cards is a small price to pay, especially if we gain 20 or 30 life in the process. The second way I see building Gix is focusing on the second part of his text, stealing the top of our opponent's library. With enough mana and enough cards in hand, you could steal half of someone's deck if you wanted. The third way is an amalgam of the two, which is what I decided to build here. But before we get into our deck list, we should keep in mind our checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. War Room helps us draw cards, while Reliquary Tower helps us keep those cards in hand. Bojuka Bog for graveyard hate, and we've also got a collection of cycling lands in Ash Barrens, Barren Moor, Blasted Landscape, Desert of the Glorified, and Polluted Mire. Myriad Landscape for some ramp. Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth helps support both Cabal Coffers and Cabal Stronghold, both of which power up our 24 swamps. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Charcoal Diamond, Mind Stone, Thought Vessel, Decanter of Endless Water, and Scepter of Eternal Glory make up our mana rocks. Wayfarer's Bauble, and Solemn Simulacrum for land ramp, Black Market for extra mana, Dark Ritual, Bubbling Muck, and Rain of Filth as rituals, Crucible of Worlds to get cycled, discarded, or sacrificed lands back from the graveyard, and Extraplanar Lens, Gauntlet of Power, and Crypt Ghast as mana doublers. We need a lot of mana for what this deck has planned. Endless Atlas, Phyrexian Arena, Black Market Connections, Underworld Connections, and the Immortal Sun all give us free, consistent card advantage, while Sign in Blood, Night's Whisper, Siphon Mind, Ambition's Cost, Ancient Craving, and Damnable Pack all give us bursts of card draw. Vampiric Tutor, and Demonic Tutor to find answers or win conditions as needed. Greed to help us dig through our deck. Morbid Opportunist, Dread Presence, Harvester of Souls, and Villas, Broker of Blood all give us conditional card advantage. Alhammarat's Archive doubles up all that card advantage, while Bolas's Citadel is practically a win con by itself. I know that's an obscene amount of card advantage, but that's kind of the point of this deck. Baleful Mastery, Defile, Feed the Swarm, Infernal Grasp, Plague Crafter, Imp's Mischief, Force of Despair, and Hero's Downfall all serve as our spot removal, with Zat's Will as our second piece of Graveyard Hate. Decree of Pain may be expensive to cast, but we should have the mana to do so. Toxic Deluge and Mutilate help us out in a pinch, though. Vampire Nighthawk, Nighthawk Scavenger, Eradicator Valkyrie, Tabarak's Hope's Demise, The Haunt of Hightower, Henrika Domnathi, and Vault Scourge all fill the role of gaining us some life. So when they attack that one player at the table with no defense against flying, we get to draw a ton of cards. Psychosis Crawler and Shieldred the Apocalypse are both here as payoffs for us drawing cards, but Shieldred, like Underworld Dreams, punishes our opponents for drawing cards. Peer into the Abyss is a win con with enough mana on board. Grey Merchant of Asphodel for a bit of life gain. We are paying a lot of life to draw cards, so even a little life gain helps. While Torment of Hailfire and Exsanguinate both serve as backup win conditions. Now that we have our deck, let's compare it to our checklist. 54 mana sources split between 36 lands and 18 pieces of ramp, but some of those pieces of ramp also draw us cards and some are rituals, so it's fine. 23 pieces of card advantage counting our commander. Very high, but that's the point of this deck, so again, that's fine. 9 pieces of interaction, 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of Graveyard Hate, 3 sudden I win cards in Torment of Hailfire, Exsanguinate, and Peer into the Abyss. Okay, so technically Peer into the Abyss isn't a win con by itself, but if we have our commander out when we cast it and then we pay the 7 mana and discard 40 or so cards, we get to exile 40 cards off the top of our opponent's deck and cast whatever spells we find. Cutestuff is playing her Lathliss deck? Perfect. Your dragons? Oh no, my wife. You mean my dragons. Yes, I realize that casting both Peer into the Abyss and activating Gix Yawgmoth Praetor in the same turn costs 14 mana. But if we have only 5 swamps, one of our mana doublers on board, and we cast one of our rituals, Reign of Filth for example, and no other mana rocks, we will have a mana floating afterwards. This deck can easily get to 15 or even 20 mana in just a few turns. It draws a ton of cards and is a blast to play. I do apologize to your wallet, this deck is over $500, but the deck is well worth the price tag. How are you building Gix Yawgmoth Praetor? Or are you putting him in another deck? Maybe you found a new way to build him, like a group hug type deck? Or maybe Goad? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cutestuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, there's a link to her Fiverr page below. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons, Jiraiya, Waffles, Muffins, Casey, Danny, Nick, Marcus, Black Dragon, Phoenix of Ice, Daniel, and Kyo. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander Deck videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or you can click here to watch additional videos. Also, if you're a fan of anime and manga like I am, feel free to check out my other channel, Musings by Dana. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Dana.